first and foremost, tell us a little bit about G4S, because you provide a range of security services internationally, from security at venues to security at prisons to cash in transit security. In Nigeria, what is it that you do?
Yes, globally we have a revenue of 7.4 billion, and our recent results, our profit before tax was 527 million pounds. We are in 125 countries, employing over 625,000 employees. And in Africa, we are in 37 countries. In Nigeria, we've been here since 2002, and we have a presence in Lagos, in Port Harcourt, in Warri, Escravos, and we've got about 5,000 employees. As you've said, we do cash in transit, we do document and data storage, we do other services like in the aviation sector. Here in Nigeria, we don't do any cash in transit. We mainly do what we call secure solutions, which is guarding. We do mainly journey management. We transport people from airports and around the country. We also have emergency response vessels in the Delta.
Now, obviously, a lot of your clients are in the oil and gas sector, and you mentioned the Niger Delta. Yes, historically there have been problems in the Delta, but recently with an amnesty, we've seen production levels improve and some level of peace and order restored to the Delta. So what types of services then do you render in a situation of relative peace?
Yes, we definitely are doing a good business in Escravos with Chevron. It's one of our biggest clients. We've got 2 emergency response vessels there. And right in the Delta, we've got about 600 employees there. But we have other services that we offer in other parts of let's say, for example, in Port Harcourt, where last year we moved over 70,000 people from airports using secure transport. So definitely for us, stability means more business for us. We like more investors to come to Nigeria because they are used to our service in other parts of the world.
I still don't understand. If there's relative stability, why do people need security in Nigeria?
Because a lot of the customers are multinational corporations who are used to international standards. There's a lot of compliance with a lot of changes either in the banking sector or in many other sectors. So there is need to have a way in which, for example, document storage, you have to store documents for 7 years in Nigeria. In other countries, it's 15 years. So the more stable the economy becomes, the more business we have. If you look at our recent results, for example, for G4S globally, we did more business in Botswana and Morocco and also in Djibouti. Those were the most profitable businesses in our Africa operation.
Talk to us about the earnings potential in Nigeria. If global profits after tax was 7 billion, in Nigeria, what would that translate into?
We estimate the security business in Nigeria to be worth over 680 million pounds, which is just over $1.5 billion. And it could be more than that. That is just excluding the cash in transit business. We don't do the cash in transit business in Nigeria. And I mean, over 70% of Nigerians are not banked. So we should be seeing a revolution in the banking sector in Nigeria with the whole transformation that is happening with the Reserve Bank trying to get banks to adhere to international standards and getting more people to be banked with recent initiatives. There's going to be need to do ATM replenishment like we do in South Africa, like we do in the UK. So we're seeing huge potential in that area.
You've spoken a lot about the kinds of jobs you've created, and we know that Nigeria, like South Africa, is one of those leading African countries that has a serious youth unemployment problem. What sort of vocational training do you offer, and how steady are your jobs? Are they jobs long-lasting or just for a period of time?
You know, globally, you know, there is high, you know, staff turnover in the security business because it's not a very sexy business for a lot of people. But as you go up the value chain, we're seeing more young Nigerians joining the security business, some with degrees. Also with the global meltdown, for example, we've got a lot of vacancies in the middle management positions, and we've been able to get a number of people from UK and US who've actually joined our business here. With Nigeria, the government has a national service, and it is through that national service that we can tap some of the potential and some of the talent into our business.
The danger factor, as you said, it's not a sexy business to be coming into. And now what I'm telling you is based purely on dinner table conversations I've heard in my many journeys to Nigeria, is that you do have, unfortunately, the growth of crime and the growth of criminal syndicates in Nigeria, which obviously presents a physical threat. But many of them are said to use very sophisticated weaponry like rocket launchers. So you're not just dealing with criminals, but you're dealing with very well-armed criminals in the event of an ambush. The danger factor for those considering working for G4S or getting into the security business in Nigeria, what is it?
I think the danger factor that is here in Nigeria is as much as you can find it in other parts of the world. Some of these incidents, they get high media publicity. They are isolated events. If you look at Lagos, for example, the crime rate has actually come down. I can say to you, you know, I come from Botswana, where it's very peaceful. But I feel less safe in, say, in Soweto than here in Lagos. I can walk around. It's very secure. And it's just that the perception out there is that this place is dangerous, but it's absolutely not the case. There is, yes, areas where there is some incidents. You occasionally have incidents in Jos. Crime will be there. People need to be cautious, but it should be something that shouldn't really cause any alarm, because the government has made a lot of initiatives to clamp down crime. Lagos is a classic example where we don't really have a high level of crime. There's no snatching. You will get it, but it will not be as bad as any other part of the world. I think it's really all relative. Nigeria has got 141 million people. So if you look at the percentage of crime, it's almost the same as you have it in the developed world.
Obviously, Nigeria is going to elections in the next 3 or so weeks. Has that heightened the sense of insecurity? Do you get that feeling?
Actually, for us, business have actually come down because of that. Perhaps, yes, because people don't want to travel more. Last year, in December, we transported 1,000 people, for example, around Lagos and Abuja. January, it was only about 600 people, and we've seen in February only like 300 people that we moved around. Yes, people are, what they see in the media, some of these opportunistic insurgencies in other areas are causing that people to feel insecure. But generally, it's business as usual. We are continuing to do well, and we feel that after elections, we'll even see more growth, especially in the oil and gas sector.
I mean, obviously, you've moved from G4S in Botswana, as you referred to earlier on, moving into Nigeria. Expansion plans beyond Nigeria for G4S?
G4S is, we've been growing, as you know. We've had some acquisitions in other parts of the world, in Brazil. Even in South Africa, we've had an acquisition. We are really working more on capability building acquisitions. We just bought Skycom in South Africa. Here in Nigeria, we are in the process of launching a document and data storage business, hopefully before the end of June.